Arcane Void. So you're draining 2 power on monster damage.
I mean, that's actually kind of sick, right?
Yeah.
Arcane Void. So you're draining 2 power on monster damage.
If it applied to Hellions. I mean, that's actually kind of sick, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the problem is you're probably leading that attack with either a Hellion or an Abrogator, in which case Arcane Void is redundant.
Okay, stream's back up. Test it. I think it's working.
Continuing to make noise for the sake of the stream.
Yeah,
I can hear tech now.
Excellent.
Cool.
Okay, then there we go.
So is this game just starting out?
Yeah, just starting.
Yeah, they're still doing the building draft.
Perfect.
Anything you say will be on Twitch, so, don't threaten people.
Can I ask questions though?
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
Just wanted to make sure.
In fact,
Prevents me
asking
from having to
questions is a very good thing to do. Other people may have the same question.
Also means I'm not just like rambling.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm seeing the reclamation facilities kind of in the midfield. Is
That's where it lives.
Oh, that's kind of an ideal spot.
Yeah, actually, the one, the blue one in the forward position that I'm highlighting here, is the ideal location for a rec facility on this map, because it covers 1, 2, 3, 4 power points and a negative. Well, it doesn't really cover the negative, but you can recycle units off of any of those points. So it's got really good coverage.
Is that kind of a first turn goal or like later on in the game?
Yeah, it's kind of a like.
Sorry, I want to confirm. You're highlighting the rec facility that's part of the double foundation?
I am the one that's next to the power plant.
Yeah. Well, I can't see your mouse, remember?
Touche. Yeah, so it's kind of when you need it, right? Like it's you put it there to have it in your back pocket for whenever it comes up, as opposed to having like a specific turn in mind when you're going to use it.
Okay, I was under the impression that that was kind of like a foundational first turn building so that you can kind of get the 6 power die in one turn, or is that outdated?
No, so that's true. Right, I talked about that in my last article. But for that reclamation facility, you'd actually use the one in the back corner here, and typically you would actually like put a reclamation facility in your back line to do it. Right, like if that's your game plan, because then you can pick a safe foundation, since it's the only power that you're holding.
That's not to say that in this setup you couldn't do an insurance scam, because you could secure the Vulnerus's one that is adjacent to the PowerPoint on the Green Foundation.
Yeah, the back one, the one that's in kind of Centipede's back line.
Yeah.
Or were you talking? And like same from Vulnerus, right?
Actually, they both have it in the same position. The backline one that's adjacent to the power zone.
Yeah. So they can just mirror that play back at each other if they would like to. Which honestly, I'd probably do destroyers on destroyers. Like you're not attacking the back line anyway, so you might as well just kill some stuff.
Is it me or is Relock sounding a little robotic right now?
No, he's coming through fine for me.
Oh crap, and that's probably on my end. Which means it'll be on the stream.
Robo relocked, the best version of me.
Yeah. You're just a little crackly. It's not full on Robo.
Damn it, Twisted, you couldn't even give me that.
I'm why we can't have nice things.
It's true. If the Verota was 1, this play is sweet, right? The fact that it costs 2 means you're like saving 0 action dice, which I think
Yeah.
is my biggest problem with it.
Yeah.
So I asked Faye about this when the card got spoiled. The intention is that you beachhead immediately, so it's actually costs 1.5 because you get a free bump off of it.
Sure,
Yeah,
but
I
the
remember
beachhead
her
still costs
saying
you an
that,
action.
but
Right? It just means that like you can use that spawn point again without bumping the Verota.
Yeah, but that's the same cost as it would normally be. You just don't bump the Verota, you bump the other thing, right? You're still
Yeah.
spending. I guess. Oh, so I guess that like yeah, the Verota itself is technically a 1 cost in this situation. But if it was a 1 cost base, then it would be sweet. Because like this
I
is the same as a normal pop spawn.
would actually consider running it if it was a 1-cost base.
I think the biggest thing that kills it is the defense too.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if it was actually like a pain in the ass to remove, then it would gain a lot of value.
Yeah.
Like if it was kept the 2 costs but went up to 4 defense and like nothing else on the card changed, I think that would be a good spot for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you-
honestly, that's exactly what we use meat slaves for. So it would just
Yep.
kind of be a alternate version of a meat slave, and that would be fine.
Well, it's taking like the crawler spot is what it's doing at that point, right? Which is
Yeah.
good. Like crawlers need some competition. Right? It's a crawler that is equally hard to remove for units, way easier to remove for monsters, but would allow you to like get a free spawn point if you just like sit it on an objective. Like that's dope. I'm into that.
Yeah.
I might even like consider it.
You'll also gain a bunch of value if, and this is probably a pretty big if, Zerkalo gets a 4th unit pack that has like a good 2-cost specialist in it. Right? Like reinforce feels bad when the best thing you can put out is a LTA bomber or whatever it's called.
Well, I mean, the best thing you're putting out is a proper walker, right? Let's be honest.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they don't have like a good 2-cost specialist to cheat out.
Yeah, something like a Robro,
Yeah.
right? Where the cost is the only thing that's really a negative for it
Mhm.
would be pretty sick.
Just make Moloch Berserkers honorary Zerkalo.
Sure, I'm into it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be into a 1-cost berserker.
Yeah. We'll write moles out of the game and just errata them all to be Zerkalo.
Exactly. It's fine.
No one will be upset by that change.
Exactly the opposite.
I can think of several people who would be very upset by that change.
No, I meant exactly the opposite. Everyone would be hyped. Think about it. Def 4 Propo Walkers under Blasticutter?
Yeah.
That's tasty. Def 4
Yeah.
Disrupt?
In Vulnerus' first turn, right? Like all he did was kind of do the double secure on his back right. And what's the deal with the spars and the Verota walkers and the Propo walker and the PowerPoint? Is that like a deliberate thing, or is it just putting him forward?
So the reason the spar is there is that it was used to secure the construction yard to put out the security bunker.
Okay.
And then the units were allowed to move past that point. The problem is, like the spar needed to get 1 more speed so that it was over 1 more space, because then the Verota could have secured that rec facility, right? And then the play would have looked slick.
Mm-hmm.
But like also this kind of play is like perfectly fine into destroyers, right? They have no ability to impact this at all.
Yeah.
When you're like referring to that, are you implying like the Blitz Draken Berserker on the Protector side?
Yeah, it could very easily disrupt this play pattern, but that's not the world we're living in, so free.
So it's free because there's that certainty that since he's a destroyer, he has no capability to do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take like really greedy first turns into destroyers right now, which I am not a fan of. But hopefully Privateer Press will address that sooner rather than later. Oh, I just realized Vulnerus didn't like junk strat at all here.
No, neither of them did.
Yep.
I mean, Centipede doesn't like it, so we didn't expect him to. But no, Vulnerus didn't either.
I don't like that.
Yeah, Centipede is running 2 media. Vulnerus doesn't run any.
Sure, but I mean, even just junk stratting, right? Ditching power plants and the like into the back line is still value.
Oh, I didn't realize those two medias were Centipedes. I thought they were Vulneruses for some reason.
Nope.
No, those
Centipede
both
is blue. Vulnerus is black.
and
I do think
fair
it's really... Sorry, go.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's really funny that Vulnerus filled up his side and Centipede had to dump one of the medias on his own, but...
He didn't. That got swapped. That was an ISB.
that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, that's what you get for not paying full attention.
I don't like what's going on here.
This is going to be an extreme shot onto the rec facility.
Yeah, I really don't like not having the Propo backup on this play. That's always like super sketch to me.
I agree.
But
yeah, 3-6 to hit a 7 is not great odds.
This shouldn't be onto the rec facility, though. That's
Yeah,
just
he's
gonna...
got the facilitator.
Oh, the other rec facility.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Facilitator
makes a lot
is,
more sense.
So are we witnessing an insurance scam? Or
Yeah,
is it
that's
just...
what's happening right here.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
or this is not even really an insurance scam, because like an insurance scam is blowing up like one of the junk buildings in your back line. This is an aggressive play.
Yeah,
Right? He's shooting down.
This is a far better version of the insurance scam.
This is the play when it's doing its thing properly.
Yeah.
I do wish he'd had something to do with that blue dice or that white dice at the end, right? Because you get the one back from the spars, even if it was just like drop a voider.
Yeah, Spar should get removed as well. We'll give him a second to see if he does it.
You know, I know it's my fault it's called insurance scam, but we should probably come up with a better name for it.
Since it doesn't make sense in
Yeah, since it's not
point out.
using the insurance headquarters anymore.
I mean, old habits die hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's the reason why searching your deck for a card will be called the tutor, even in every TCG ever made, because Magic did it first.
Yeah.
Same with a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cantrip is a nonsense word that we all understand anyway.
I know.
So the play here is just kill every unit left on the board, right?
I mean,
All
yeah.
3 of them?
Yep.
Yeah, kill all of them and don't leave yourself within 5 of a double.
Are those spars supposed to be there?
No,
Nope.
I've already mentioned that they should be gone.
The red spar, however, is supposed to be there.
That is
White
actually
spars
true.
and
The blue
everything
spars
else.
are dead.
They blew up. Was that a media?
That was
it
a
was a
wreck.
rec facility.
All right, I give up.
It was Centipede disrupting Vulnerus' power base because they had a Propo on the.
It's just like
PowerPoint.
that Marin, pulls a Simpson, walks in, asks some questions, turns around, and walks out.
Listen, I've had a very weird day already.
About to get a whole lot weirder.
Apparently, it's just about to get weirder.
So you could have like saved a dice on this, right?
Probably. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing yet.
I think he's just planning on ramming.
I mean, yeah, or
That works.
I don't love the ram, to be honest. You can't get anywhere safe off of it.
Yeah, I would have just shot or gone for the SWAT hit and run.
Yeah.
I think either you like step all the way up there or you don't do it at all.
Hey, I said it worked. I didn't say it worked well.
So what's the objective here? Kill units, get power dice, and then stay out of threat range for the 2 opposing monsters?
That is exactly what this turn should be about. Yep.
Yeah, you can't really stay out of threat range because he can just step a bunch, but you can at least make him burn a bunch of white die to get to you. And that's what you want to do.
I actually don't like the SWAT play here because I wanted Boyaka to walk up and SWAT the facilitator into the exterminatrix.
Yeah. That's what I thought would happen.
I mean, to be fair, Boyaka only needs to shoot the exterm, like, realistically. That facilitator isn't doing a whole lot on its own.
Sure, I still want it dead.
Yeah.
Right? It's a principle thing.
Yeah.
I want a clean board.
Totally get that.
Hey, Genghis.
Oh, there we go. We finally noticed.
I had to run last night.
Oh, here we go. No, this is sweet. You swatting into the power plant to kill the exterm.
Okay, that is sweet.
And he did it. That is light to do that.
And then Maxim can get back to where he needs to be.
Yep.
And then
Boom.
step once. No, you have to step once.
I mean, it's still relatively safe. That is the wrong step.
No, that's the right step, but you just step straight back.
Yes, yeah, you step back, just straight.
You don't want to do the diagonal step.
No, because that's the same as this, right?
Mm-hmm.
People keep doing this, and it's like, this is a big mistake.
I mean, it is, like, Percy's going to have a tough time getting to that spot, right?
I mean, what else are you doing with this turn?
Fair.
Right? If you're just like, hey, would you like 4 free damage on Mecha Maximum? I'm like, yes, please.
I mean, it's 8 steps.
Sure.
I mean, that's not free with a number of reds.
True. I mean, he's at 5. Like, it's not unreasonable. It is dicey. Like, it's probably dicier than I would.
I don't like those odds.
2-5-4 into a 9. I don't like those either.
What are we talking about happening right now? I'm lost.
So Percy, if you stand directly behind Maxim, right, because that side is cleared, you can body slam into the Statue of Liberty and Media Company.
Got it.
Yep, it takes 8 steps to do it with a speed 6 monster, which is what the Preceptor, who we call Percy, is. I'm not sure how many nicknames you are aware of at this point.
Oh, maybe it's 7 steps.
It's 7 steps. I'm all in.
So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5. It's 8 steps. It's 7 steps to just get. No, it's 8 steps.
And if he had stepped directly back instead of diagonally back, it would have stopped him from.
Yeah, you're completely screened. Like the best they can do is put you into a single, so like a 2 or a 3 damage building. I'm like, okay.
I mean, you're not completely screened. You're not completely screened because there's the other side.
Because you need that body block.
You need the body block. Yep. So he actually did a better job of screening than the step would have done here.
I think the diagonal step back is actually fine. Oh no, because we talked about the 4 damage, yeah. But I mean, isn't that like basically the same number of steps? 7?
It's less steps if he does the diagonal because his side is open instead of his back.
So this play just doesn't work without the body block. That's good to know.
Or like a unit, right? Because if there's like I don't know what does he have that flies like a Squix somewhere in that water, he's good.
So what is this then?
That was shooting the Conyard, and that was a rampage.
Oh, I don't like this.
I think he's planning on chaining.
That's a mistake.
I mean,
Yep.
steps twice, so he can get in on Maxim and then do nothing, right? Like
you put like 1 unit down, and this whole thing, like 2 units, and this whole thing looks like garbage, right? You also have Mount Terra, so you can even like tech shift into a safer spot.
Tech shift out of the alignment, and then put Mecha Maxim screened again.
Yeah,
this is real nasty.
Yeah, I hate this. And like Yesheth is way out of position for the chain too. You've only got 4 dice. I like nothing about this.
What's your chef doing?
I assume that was
like a cheeky brawl on the rec facility in case he managed to hit.
I guess. Yeah. So like, okay, now you just tech shift away. Like, did it?
Why didn't he just ram the building or the construction yard if he was going to do that?
Also a good question.
Yesheth was way out of position to pair up. He messed up his monster deployment is the answer to all of our questions right now.
Okay.
Yesheth should have been closer to Percy if he wanted to do a monster attack on turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's why my monsters do that, like, offset behind the central building, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a non-committal deployment.
So are there any downsides to having, like, the monsters closer together and kind of being in mutually supporting positions, or?
It limits your threat range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Typically, I think that is offset by being able to project force the way you would like to.
So in these monster formations, is it like a higher speed monster in the front so that they can throw them back or to the other monster?
That's often the way I play, but that's because of the pairings I pick. It'll depend on the pairing you're playing, right? Like, I play a lot of Maxim, and as we've been over, he's, like, stupid speedy, so he will often, like, be my alpha, because then he can also, like, pocket in awkward places with the hit and run.
Mm-hmm. The main concern about your monster deployments is like what roles they're playing and whether or not they have high mobility, right? Because you don't put park a pedestrian behind like the staircase, right? And then the other thing that you need to consider is like, what is this monster doing for me? Is this monster supposed to kill units or destroy buildings and generate power, or is this monster supposed to sort of engage directly? And there's other things monsters can do, but those are sort of the two big starting points that I would think about when I'm deploying my monsters.
So in this case, is Maxim kind of the alpha, and then what's his face? The Boyaka is kind of like the unit shooter and like the range support?
Not in like the ways that you're describing it. So like both of these
Boyaka's a weird monster.
Yeah, Boyaka is hard to like quantify what he's actually doing game to game, because his whole thing is that he wants to be at like this mid-range position. Like, he wants to bully the midfield because he's got a 5-inch buff that makes a shot really good, or a 5 space buff that makes 1 gunshot like disgustingly good. So typically you will try to like leverage that to like generate better unit attacks. Having him kind of central, especially since he's a pedestrian, is a big thing. Like, I don't love this positioning with a pedestrian, because like I have boxed myself out on this map doing this, and like it sucks super bad. Where you're
closer to the Bastion Lander, or like somewhere like midfield, or
yeah. So actually, directly behind the Bastion Lander is the monster formation I use on this map. I take the offset square to where the construction yard was, where Maxim was, right? If he'd step back down 1, and then Boyaka hugs the Bastion Lander, because there's no way to get in on that formation to get a monster into a double, which is the important thing.
And now Voyaka's having a bad time, right? Like he can get out, but he has to either go through a fire or go the long way around the construction yard.
Yeah, so it's just like really inefficient positioning.
So what just happened is that Maxim tech shifted out during his unit turn, and then Centipede did an immediate another monster turn right after that.
Yep.
Which is incredibly aggressive, and he got punished for this last time. He's gonna get. He's super punished here, right? Like he actually can't do anything.
Ooh!
Oh, this is gonna be ugly. Right?
Okay, let's see what's going on here.
So this is SWAT spar into spar to clear the screen.
But he doesn't have he doesn't have the dice to step in and attack.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking this is probably more a stomp to kill the crawler, spar, and LTA, but
So he's just disrupting the power base.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
I mean, he's not doing it super effectively.
nope.
I don't love giving up this much unit tempo to turn off the power base, and like I love turning off a power base.
And like the ISB, is that what the back corner building is?
Yeah.
That's still secured. So
yeah,
The ISB is still secured, but nothing else will be. But he's
It'll be
still
the
getting
crawler.
4 reds.
Isn't the industrial secured because it has 2 security bunkers on it?
security bunkers, they do not double up.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't stack. Okay.
Nope.
I was gonna say, I thought security bunkers specified 2 units, 2 other units or something like that.
Look, y'all run the con yard a lot more than I do.
I mean, the way that I think about it is like it's a special rule that lets it happen, and 2 instances of a special rule never stack.
Yeah.
Unless it's power sync or team tactics.
Apparently.
Unless one of the one that does.
So what happened? So did he stomp or?
No, he just. Yeah, it must have been a stomp to kill.
Yeah, he did do a stomp as the second thing.
So why wouldn't you like body slam, or does he have to be aligned?
He has
He has
to
to
be
be
aligned.
aligned. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
All
like,
the
this
other
is-
attacks, except for like SWAT Rampage, all of them have to be aligned.
Right, you just go real white heavy on both of these attacks, and you put Percy into the con yard media, right? We go con yard media.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Especially since you're not having to take any damage on Voyaka to do it.
Those are dicey attacks, though.
They
Yeah,
are.
I mean, he is 9, but yeah.
I was looking at Yasheth too, and like trying to see if there was like a good chain on him, but I don't think there is.
Yeah, I don't really think there is either.
I mean, so this is also not a good chain, right? This is Percy at the top of Hyper.
Yeah.
That seems terrible. Right, if we're gonna do 6 damage, we might as well go single to single.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And it looks like that's what Vulnerus is thinking as well. Go up to Bastion and then body slam to Wreck.
I mean, that would have required Voyaka to walk straight up. Right?
The plan is to lead with Voyaka, I believe.
I don't think you have the dice for that. Right, like these attacks are dicey on their own. Adding like 4 steps into it, and actually you can't, because you cannot step through that corner with Voyaka, right? Voyaka cannot start this attack.
Oh, true. No,
you have to.
You have to advance Maxim first.
No, because like you literally can't. Oh no, you can. Yeah, you can corner to corner there. Never mind. Yeah, you can diagonal. Okay. I still probably don't.
But I am gonna check out here, folks.
Have a good one, Tech.
Yep.
So yeah.
I will talk to y'all later. Hopefully learn the results of the game.
Yeah, well, you can always watch the stream.
True. All right. See you, folks.
So yeah.
Have a good one.
Yeah, I don't know why, but the stream will be a little just bubbly. Okay.
So Rampage.
I mean, it gets him more dice, so I guess just throw Percy away?
Nah, you throw Percy. Maybe. Yeah, probably just away. It all kind of sucks.
It does. I mean, damage-wise, you'd throw to the UCI, or the Bastion Lander, I guess. But neither of those feel like great options.
Yeah, I don't like where he tech shifted to.
Yeah.
And that's a miss. So Vulnerus probably just loses from this point.
Probably. I'm curious what the game plan was, though.
Yeah, me too. I mean, maybe not. Like the problem is that there are so many buildings down at this point, right? It is hard to even do like a big chain.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't like stepping over there. I would have just stepped the one. I mean, I guess you're body blocking, but I think those all went back to the wrong pool.
Because he just used them, right?
And yes, because he had just used them.
So you said, like, this turn kind of, it seemed like it shifted the momentum and kind of made Vulnerus likely to lose. Is that because he kind of lost the tempo and the opportunity to be in the lead for damage?
Yeah, so he lost so now Centipede is coming into his next monster turn with full dice is going to be the biggest problem here. Right, because he's at 7 power dice already. He will generate 3 by shooting down a building again. So then, I mean, I don't know. Like this game is actually going to be a long one. Like this is a settle in kind of game.
Yeah.
Because like from Vulnerus' side, now you screen top and side for both monsters. Like the Verota plays need to stop. You can't afford the dice on that anymore. You just need to be like bunkering up, trying to find some power where you can.
So he's on like the back foot, like unit
Yeah.
turn, screen, or like maintain a screen or build a screen. Monster turns, get power, fight back. Is that kind of?
That's kind of where he's at. Yeah, it's like
Okay.
it's screened so that you don't take like a big trade, right? Because neither of these monsters has alpha screen clearing. So you need to be safe about how you're screening. Like nothing within 5 of each other kind of deal.
5 of each other. Is that SWAT or?
Yeah,
like
that's SWAT range.
Okay.
So yeah, now like where this could come back in Vulnerus' favor is if this attack misses, like Centipede literally did nothing with his entire unit turn, right? And then you just have to kill a single power pod, and he's not generating any power.
Yep. That is.
And that's
correct.
a miss. And this is why I don't like doing this without a prop up.
Yeah.
And propos do rerolls? Is that kind
Yeah.
of the?
Yeah, free reroll.
Wow.
Well, and he hasn't left any of his models in a, useful place.
Yeah, so from like, so if I'm playing Vulnerus' perspective here, right? I have 3 units that need to screen. The Verota can do one.
Yeah.
The LTA fighter can go and clear the power pod for me, I guess, maybe. Take a couple power points with some crawlers because they're immune to SWAT. Resecure my triple because it's super easy. Right, it just takes 1 unit to resecure all 3 buildings. Done and quick.
Yeah, definitely resecure the triple. It'd be nice to get rid of the pod, but I don't know about that.
You have to get rid of the pod. Like, everything else is irrelevant.
Well,
that pod cannot be there.
The issue is I don't think he can get a screen over right now.
Well, so you got the Verota, right? Like, it's speed 4, right?
I guess I'm looking at screening Mecha.
Sure, you just need one unit to get up next to the rack.
Well, but Percy could easily go below and then throw into the wreck.
Oh, I forgot about Percy having high mobility. It's a good
Yeah.
point. But Yasheth can't follow up from that point, and then I don't think I care.
Okay. I mean, yeah,
Right.
That's probably fair.
Like,
so
especially.
It's not about,
Sorry, go ahead.
It's not about mitigating like power attacks completely. It's like mitigating the high damage ones. Like
Yeah, no, you're not going to stop a power attack. You just need to not take a bunch of damage.
I like this security bunker.
If you go after Mecha, you can't really follow up with Yasheth anyway, so I guess we really care most about securing Boyaka.
Yeah, I would probably I would make sure you couldn't screen from the top so it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But past that, I don't think I care. I mean, the biggest problem is
dropping the force field there, but it would be better as a security bunker, which I think you said.
Yeah, I will if you're building something to screen, it should always be the security bunker. A Def 7 model that doesn't give reds back is bananas.
Mm-hmm. And he still needs to do something about Boyaka's front, which the Verota can do. He just needs to actually do it. That Verota cannot do it.
Yeah, so it's got to be the Propo then.
Yeah.
So like I said though, if you don't get rid of this pod, I am not into this play pattern at all. This play pattern is predicated on getting rid of the pod.
Right. Yeah. I mean, none of them have alpha screen clear, so
yeah. So if you're gonna do this,
forcing them to just give up the monster attack means you can't be chain or you can't be a alley-oop, and that's kind of like you said the real important part right now.
Yeah, you don't want to take 6. You want to be the first person to do that big swing, right? Because you want to chain and that's the biggest thing about this is getting rid of that that power pod removes any chance of a chain turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what that's your real goal. Everything else is cute and fun, but you need to eliminate the chain. I also probably would have spawned the facilitator on the other side, right? Just because that's what cargo does. It makes screening two sides of a monster super easy.
Yeah.
I would have I would have put a hunter out here somewhere, right, to shoot some stuff off for me. Although I guess he has a hunter, right? So that facilitator should probably be a hunter and should shoot down the exterm because you can do that with 1 white dice, nice and clean and easy.
I mean, you can, and I don't dislike that, but if I had a hunter, I'd probably put that on the pod just to guarantee it's dead.
Also, yeah, fair. So I don't know what this shot was at. Okay, it was a building shot. We doing stuff. I don't know. I mean, part of this is also a playstyle thing, right? I prioritize turning off my opponent's power and depriving them of resources incredibly heavily.
Yeah. Well, it is a big part of the game. Now, I won't sacrifice getting, a potential alley-oop for it, but
depends on the game state. I might.
Well, I guess that's true. There are some depends on the game states. Just a caveat that's always here, though.
Yeah. But yeah, there have definitely been times where I've been like, I could like fight your monsters, or you have no power in pool, and I can turn off all your power. Think I know which one I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know which one lets me dictate the game. And the more time we spend playing my game, the better it is for me.
Yeah, 100%. No disagreements here. Yeah, so now Centipede is sitting in the tank trying to figure it out. I don't think there's a good play here. Just kind of period the end. Because Yasheth is on the wrong side of the board.
Yeah. Oh, we're on a unit turn for Centipede?
No, that was attack shift.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah, I don't
I
understand
mean,
Bastion Landers. If I want access to attack shift that bad, I'll just bring Percy.
yeah. Yeah, I think. Oh, well, this is easy. Destroy the crawler and swap the Propo into the LTA. Shut off literally his entire power base.
Sure, but to what end, right? Like, you're not up. Well, I guess you're up 5 minutes on clock, so just like dragging the game out is
Yeah,
fine.
you're up 5 minutes on clock. You've spent 3 whites. You just say, okay, your turn. Take 15 seconds, and I will figure out where you go after that.
Sure, but so then from the opponent's perspective, like, I move Maxim up, blitz something, pass the turn back, right? Like, screen myself again in an even better way this time, and then just like pass the turn to you.
Yeah.
I do not like this play, even a little bit. This is the rampage
through it.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I mean, it's fine because like Vulnerus isn't. Although actually, it isn't even fine anymore. Vulnerus was getting more power off of points than they were off the triple anymore.
Yeah.
So like you've actually done nothing. You generated some power.
Yeah, no. At this point, it was probably best to just have Yashef try to switch your monsters around. Percy shoots off the Propo, and Yashef tosses Voyaka into the Conyard fire, I guess. Because you could have had Percy just move straight down so he's not in line with any of the doubles.
Yeah,
Shoot
and I guess
off
the reason, like I should explain, I don't mind this in a normal game. I hate it in this particular game, because in this particular game, like Voyaka does a lot of damage without needing to power attack.
Yeah.
So like you just like kind of like putting a damage here, a damage there, is like you're playing directly into your opponent's game plan, and I don't like doing that.
And that's why I was saying if Percy had just moved straight down, Yashef could have come over and Yashef could have just done a short throw. And yeah, you're not doing the alley-oop, but you could probably save enough dice to do a chain turn that may involve an alley-oop.
So the problem is like that pod is still alive, and like maybe this is time to start playing ships in the night, right? If your opponent wants to like keep putting Yasheth on the ass end of the board, then just swap sides.
Yeah. Just run over to his side of the board and say, okay, come on.
Yeah, go to his side of the board, kill all his
Follow the
units,
leader.
and be like, yeah, like okay, you can keep taking these like ridiculous chain turns. Like I don't know, smash my power base. I don't care.
Yeah, because Yes, the power base already doesn't exist at this point.
So, what is happening right now? I mean,
So like in terms of like game state, so what's happening is Maxim just blitzed the Propo Walker so that he can align with Percy. Now Voyaka will, so you'll throw up to Bastion Lander, then Voyaka will throw across to Exterminatrix plus Rec Facility, although you need to spend less reds on this. Like, this is an
Yep.
overcommit.
Yeah, because you're only going to get 2 reds back, and you need 3 to go over there, so you need to save at least 1.
Yeah, I probably do 5.
Although Percy's a 9, so you can't really do this safely.
No, but like nothing is safe anymore, right?
No.
And like if this hits, like Yahtzee, right?
Yeah.
so was it a misplay on Centipede's side, kind of taking Yasha farther away?
Yes,
Mhm.
I 100% think it was. Yes, I would like.
It
So
absolutely was.
my monsters like to be as close to each other as possible, so that you don't end up in situations where like you can't take monster attacks because you actually just like can't get in on their monster. And like all of this rampaging and like blowing up Vulnerus's power bait like buildings also has the result of like, what do you do, right? Like he trades 6 damage into you. You don't have an option for 6 damage back. So now you're falling behind on the damage trade. Your monsters are out of position. Like it's like a bad to worse situation. Like this is like a 30, but if it hits, like I don't know how to pull back from that. And that is a hit.
Oh.
And 2
Okay,
turns
then.
ago, we thought he was going to lose, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Centipede like took some really inefficient lines. Right? Like if Centipede had taken that unit turn and just like taken all the power spots, started like securing a backline so that he had the power to chain efficiently.
Yeah, he could have easily set himself up to gain 5 to 7 power a turn. And that would have let him just chain with impunity.
Yeah, but instead, like smashing those 2 buildings is incredibly relevant because that would have been 6 damage on Mecha or 7 damage on Mecha Maxim, and now that option's gone.
Yeah.
so when is rampaging? Because that's the second time he's done it, right? Like, when is it a good option?
I like rampaging early in the game when you need to like generate power, or if you're like disrupting the opponent's power base, and you're already ahead, right? Like it's a play in the mid game that you do from ahead, not from or from behind, right? Like when you need to catch back up and you've got like a sweet play, you rampage, or when you're like way ahead and you don't need that monster in the fight anymore. Those are the times that I'll do it.
And in this case, he did need that monster in the fight.
Yeah.
He needed the monster in the fight, and he didn't really need the reds, right? Like he overpowered there. Like yeah, so he's gonna do 5 damage to Mecha Maxim. And then he's gonna lose Percy. And then Yasheth is gonna have to figure it out. Like that's the tempo he's created for himself is not like a winning tempo.
Well, and he's done this wrong anyway. He should be coming from below the con yard so he's not disrupted by the Propo Walker.
Also agree. Going in on a 9 is hard enough. Like, and he has to hit that same coin flip back at Vulnerus, or he also like has wasted his unit positioning, and then Percy dies for absolutely free, right?
Yeah. I say yes. I'm not actually at the computer right now to look at the board state. I just assume you're correct.
And that's a miss.
Well,
That's an 8.
that's the game.
I mean, this did require Vulnerus to hit that low odds attack to make this happen, but it also kind of didn't, just because of the way Centipede is played out this chain. Like the aggressive chaining every time he has a monster turn is kind of what's caught him in this position.
Well, I think that's just part of Centipede's MO. I think I've faced him before, and he's just, if he had reds, he chained.
Yeah, and I've seen him do it too.
So yeah, he just needs to practice when practice learning when to chain, recognize when to chain.
And I mean, you never chain off the first monster turn, right? Ever. That's just always a mistake.
When you're chaining, are you spreading out those 10 action dice over 2 turns, essentially?
Yeah, that's what you're doing. So you're getting
2,
less efficient
sometimes
turns.
3. It's less efficient, but if you can go single or something like that, it's still really powerful.
And it's purely supplemented by power dice, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have reds, you can't do it.
Yeah, it requires you to have a really strong power base to make it work. Typically, you'll only see most players chain once or twice in a game, because it's typically you'll trade in you'll chain after the first trade, right? So the first time that you get a monster into a single, then you'll chain to try to kill that monster dead.
Yeah. Well, and once somebody's down to 1 monster, you'll see them chain a lot more.
Yeah,
but
because
it's
they
a
don't need
lot
the other
easier.
guys.
Yeah. Which is kind of a neat rubber band mechanic in that not needing to spend the extra whites on the other monster can help you stay in the game.
So Hunter and what this turn?
Well, I mean, normally I would say Hunter and Spyfly, but
Well, so I don't think you need the Spyfly, right? Because you just
Probably
where
not.
he's put that LTA fighter, you just spawn a Hunter, move it over to the power point, shoot down the Exterminatrix. It's just about delivering something to that pod now, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Okay, we're switching the LTA for what though? For the LTA. I guess we're not doing the Hunter at all. Seems like a bad idea. So I imagine he's going to try to bait into the Toxo somehow. Not entirely sure how yet, though. Okay, he has summoned the Hunter, so that should go into the pod, but we'll see if it actually does. Honestly, he shouldn't have summoned. He should have summoned the Hunter from the same point that the Verota is on. So I'm not sure if the Hunter can make it to the pod without the facilitator. Yeah, he needs radar on the Hunter to attack the pod. So I guess maybe the Hunter takes the LTA's spot and the LTA tries to kill the pod. Lower odds, but it could work.
So is he just trying to kind of maintain the lead in terms of power dice advantage? Or is it?
Yeah, it's in terms of board state, unit state.
Okay, so he secured the 2 buildings on his side of the map, right? And then he's trying to take out the power pod. Is that kind of?
That's what he needs to do. Okay, that would work. What he just did would work okay, but if he'd swapped it around so that the Hunter and the LTA were backwards, he could actually attack the pod because the comms array gives it the extra range that it needs. I don't know why he has so many units securing that rec facility.
So that you can't disrupt it.
Yeah, I guess. He's not done anything about Mecha Maxim, but I guess Mecha won't be there.
Well, he's got Monster Prio, right? He doesn't need
Yeah.
to screen this time.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. His monsters won't be there, so he doesn't care about screening them up there.
Yeah, and I mean, Percy's going to die here, right? So like Maxim just like body slams, hit and runs out of the way, Voyaka steps in, finishes it off. Done and
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
But it does mean that you should have been generating as much power as was humanly possible on this turn, right? Like killing every unit you could for reds.
Yeah, definitely. Because for all we said about the screen thing, that Berserker can just kill one thing, move between both buildings, and now they're both disrupted.
Yep.
He doesn't have to kill anything else, just has to disrupt them.
Well, I mean, odds are he won't kill anything else. That's a propo.
Is it? Oh yeah, I guess it is. I was thinking it was the Verota. Where did the Verota go then?
Apparently it doesn't exist.
Oh, maybe he recfacilitated it.
Oh, that's possible.
Eh, happens when you look away. I'm not sure what the 3 dice are over by the facilitator either. Unless he's planning to summon spars again, which he needs not to.
Yeah, I see people leaning into this play way more than it's good. Right? Like, you should probably insurance scam what? Maybe 3 times over the course of a game if your power base is getting constantly blown up.
Yeah, that's tops. Because he's got a lot of prime buildings he could just secure.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the biggest mistake here has just been the aggressive chaining. Like that's what's cost this game in a big way. Because like he's looking to go into like a double, like monsters who are at double his health.
Yeah.
So what's he doing now? He's not trying to screen or anything. He's just trying to gain power for Yashev's next turn.
I mean, that's like so. That would be great if he'd ever hit Maxim up until this point, right?
Yeah, it's like too little, too late.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've moved past the point. Like this is good, right? Establish a power base, but like this should have been 2 turns ago.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, if he establishes a power base that he can rely on each turn, that lets him chain more effectively with Yashev. It's just a question of, can he even get a monster kill with it? Not even win, can he just get a monster kill?
Oh, that's a mistake.
What do you do?
He just used Nullify.
Okay then. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the hope is then that like Vulnerus can't kill Percy here.
Yeah, he'll have at best 5 reds to play with.
Yeah. Well,
One building, one propo.
This security bunker, I think, was a mistake. Because this one still here, or did it die, or is this a new one?
Oh, the one down by the ISB?
Yeah.
That would have to be a new one.
So if that's a new one,
it may have been a previous unit turn though.
So that was like a very expensive security bunker, right? Don't like that.
Well, and afterwards he got rid of the the Conyard for the ISB.
Now, actually, because Vulnerus didn't kill everything on that unit turn, right now he's actually in a terrible spot. right? Like that's why you had to kill this pod. That's why you had to kill that facilitator, right? You couldn't allow this situation to happen.
Yeah, he's not going to kill Percy in all likelihood. Not this turn.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's possible, but it is not likely.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Actually,
absolutely possible.
It's actually not that unlikely. That is a Toxo, I just realized.
Yeah, so that's 4 damage, and then he has to get a shot or a punch or something off. The
A
issue
big game
is...
hunter shot.
Oh, that's true. He does have 6 blues. Voyaka has big game hunter in both forms?
Sure does.
Yeah, well, that makes me
This
feel
is,
a whole lot better about what Vulnerus has done.
yeah, like this is actually kind of okay.
Yeah.
I did like moving Boyaka down just so that he was
I
out
did
of
too.
line with enough. This I hate. This is bad.
What just happened?
He was moving up to like punch the berserker or the pod or something. Don't like that.
Nope.
Although actually, like swatting pod into U-Tank turns off 2 buildings. It makes
True.
the 4 damage pretty safe.
Yeah.
And like the problem is still you can't put Maxim into anything because there's no buildings because you killed them all.
That is true.
Right? There's no damage source on Maxim. He's literally lined up for nothing if he hits this attack on Percy.
It's funny how often we, initially gut reactions, ooh, this is bad, and then we talk through it and it's like, actually it's okay.
Yeah. So what's the power up from Centipede? So like the biggest problem is that you can't chain here, right? Like so your option to kill Percy is gonna have to be on the unit turn.
Yeah.
I think this is an overcommitment, but okay.
Well, we've seen a lot of those.
It depends on where the SWAT's going. I would put it into the U-Tank personally.
Yeah.
But putting it into the comms array does like give you the power required to like make the attack into Percy pretty safe, which is probably more important.
Oftentimes, yes, we do tend to think that is the most important thing.
I don't know. If you're throwing 6 whites at it, right? So 6 and 4 is actually like an 80. No, you still have to throw all 6 dice.
Yeah.
5 at the very minimum. And then you hit and run and then blitz a screen in place. Yeah, I'm into all of that. Actually, no, I'm not. Nope, I hate all of it. Never mind. So Maxim doesn't want to move, right?
No, not really.
There's no reason to move from this position.
No.
Like the most I would do is maybe like take Percy's spot after I was done hitting him. You could shift.
Yeah, Percy's
one
spot
to
would be
the
a really
side.
good spot.
The reason I would stay here though is that like disruption, right? You got the problem. But you have the same access to it if you hit and run.
Yeah.
So there is also an argument for hit and running up to where the crawler is at. Or this, yeah. Like this is a similar kind of thing, right? Where it even better. Yeah, you prevent Percy from coming in on you by virtue of he's at 1 health.
Mm-hmm. And Yasheth is too far away to do anything about it.
Cause Yasheth. That monster has been perpetually out of position this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know why he bothered to put those 2 in pool. Yeah, there you go.
So why didn't he try to kill Percy in the last turn with Voyaka? Just there was too much uncertainty with the number of power dice available?
That would be my guess. Is he thought the attack was too dicey, which it probably was. Like it's a 78 with 6, 3, and 4 into a 9.
Yeah, that's fairly low odds for what we like to roll.
Yeah, I would, and I mean, so to be fair, like the miss in that case was like real bad, right? Like that went from no damage on Maxim to actually like putting him in hyper.
Did it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he would then you go into the ISB instead.
Well, I thought we were only talking about the kill shot
Oh,
because
but
the ISB
he
would be
went
gone
away
at
so
that
that
point.
yeah, but so he went away in order to make the ISB attack safe though, right? Instead of taking the kill shot, which like I can definitely understand the rationale on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like it initially, but I came around.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this attack is though.
I'm not either. Because I would not lead with the Yasha here. Okay, so that was a throw on Voyaka.
Yeah, I mean the problem here is that you are so far behind on tempo,
Yeah.
right?
hmm And Centipede may as well put him all the way over. It doesn't really matter.
I think Centipede's going to try to chain here is what's about to happen. In which case he's going to get punished like super hard.
Yeah. Yeah, a chain is going to be real hard to do here.
Yeah, because like the
And he
LTA
definitely
fighter
can't do it if he's doing anything with Yasha.
no, he needed all 3 dice just to get another attack on Boyaka.
Yeah.
Did he fission yet?
Not yet, but even then, doesn't matter. Oh, so that was punch Maxim?
To vampirism something, yeah.
Big
Yeah,
mistake.
if he had fissioned, he could have tried to do on the next turn, he could have tried to do Voyaka into the rec facility and then back into the radar. But he needed all 3 dice to do that because he would have to fission to go up to 4 and then
I mean, so
do
the
all of that
problem
other
is
stuff.
that like LTA fighter just like pops up in front of Boyaka, screens him. Spyfly lets it shoot the Moloch. And you didn't have the power to take another turn here again anyway, right?
No, you're not generating enough for it.
Can the Spyfly stand on that neutral spawn point? Because that's where I want it to stand.
Is it speed 5 or 6? Nope.
Oh,
Needs
yeah.
7.
Oh, is it 7? Damn. Although actually standing it on the actual spawn point instead of the activator works just fine too. I just want to apply spotter
Yeah.
to both the crawler and the berserker is what I was looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah, that's fair. Then yeah, it can get close enough to do what you want.
Yeah. So this Baroda 100% should have been a hunter, just like every Baroda before it.
Except maybe the first turn one.
The first turn one I was into, but like this is a case where like he's taking this like slight efficiency play instead of like attacking units, and like you can't just let your opponent put units on the board forever, right? Like you need to be interrupting that flow. And that's the biggest problem I'm seeing here is just the Vulnerus is not interrupting that flow.
Yeah.
Although I think this is shooting down Percy. But in that case, the Baroda still shouldn't be there. That was 2 white dice you didn't need to spend on a Baroda.
Yeah.
Should have been either a hunter or an exterm.
And it's 2 white die he could have spent on something else. If he's shooting Percy, definitely the exterm. Because at least then you're having to hit a 7 instead of a 9 or an 8.
Not digging a lot of what's going on here. I mean, if you hit Percy and like kill him, like the game is kind of over from Centipede's perspective. Like there's no world in which even newly buffed Yasheth can like solo down Maxim and Boyaka from basically full health.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why I don't hate making the unit attack in this situation. It's just don't use the Verota. It is an efficiency for something your turn doesn't want to do right now.
Yep. Yeah, like I'm not against the Verota conceptually. Like we talked it through. It basically is a cost 1.
Yeah, it has its place. It's not something it's just not something I value enough to bring.
No, my problem
There's
is
too
the
much
space
other
it takes up in my unit list.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. There's too much other competition that I like better.
And then reroll. Is that even enough dice? That doesn't look like enough dice.
To even have a chance to hit? I mean, maybe if they were all 2s. Or do you
they
just
are
mean
all
it wasn't actually enough to...
Well, so he gave up a white dice for that LTA elite that should have been in the attack.
Yep.
I mean, that miss sucks. I still don't think it matters because like Centipede still doesn't have enough power to do anything big with this.
True. Centipede is only going to get 2, 3.
Power's
he'll
up to
go
3.
4.
Yeah, but that's
He has
not
the
enough.
Berserker, the Facilitator, and the Martian.
Sure, 3 white, 4 and or 3 white and 4 red does not a monster turn make, right?
No. Centipede, don't take the monster turn.
Yeah, like this is when you take a unit turn and just like eat everything. Right? Like just he's only powering up for 2 right now. You could turn that off no problem.
Yeah, and you really need to... Well, I mean, there's not much you can do about Percy, but the more bodies on the field, the better your generation is, the better your chance with Yasheth is. And that's the only chance you have is Yasheth. Like, honestly, he probably should have just chucked both his dice to the unit pool last turn.
Yeah. I don't know. There is a lot of really aggressive chaining. It's kind of like spinning the wheels going on right here.
Yeah. And that's what we talked about. Centipede's MO. It just chains aggressively. Which is not always a good thing.
No, there is getting too aggressive. And those words taste like bile coming out of my mouth, but
Oh, does someone like his aggressive turns?
yeah, I do. I'm a big fan of aggressive play.
Never would have guessed.
So he spent 1, which means he went down to 3. Did he? Were there 3 units there? Yeah, there were 2 LTAs and a Propo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but stomps don't clear assets, do they?
I think they cleared the turret versions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is one of the few
I think they're
times they're
treated as
units.
Units for stomps, for rams, for rampages.
Okay.
That sounds right, yeah.
I think that's the rule.
Now, do you crush the Spyfly and your Berserker, or not?
I mean, I probably do.
I would. Get the 3 dice back, but... How did he get 4 back? He should have only gotten 3.
So resource domination is there as well?
Sure, but that's 3.
It was it was Yasheth, not Percy.
See you, Dingle.
Doesn't look like they agree with you.
Sure.
Well, okay.
Siphon not on. It doesn't have siphon on power.
Not in alpha, at least.
I don't think he has it in hyper either. I think he's
doesn't.
just
It's on
like
his
he's
gun.
just.
I know he
just
gives
punch.
it to units, but
This is just the shot,
Oh.
right? Like all you worry about here is killing Yasheth. Like I even probably take Maxim over into hyper, swat the facilitator into the Martian, shoot Percy down with the power I get from that, punch down the exterminatrix.
yeah, I mean, your only real care here is to kill Percy.
Well, and then you can chain that pretty aggressively too, right?
In
that's
theory,
like
depends on the
that's
power,
not
but yeah.
yeah. I mean, you got six boost on everything at that point, right? You can be real power light, real white light.
Yeah. Especially if you were using Maxim for this, like you said.
Yeah, well, Maxim has the rocket assist, right? That's why I'm swatting the facilitator into the Martian.
Oh man, forgot about rocket assist.
Everyone
that's
forgets
even
about
better.
rocket assist.
I've never had a turn where it lined up when I was playing Maxim.
This is the only position I like it from.
Yeah.
Like it has to be exactly this position. Right, where I just need to kill one monster, generate a bunch of power, and then I can like put the boots to the other monster.
Yeah.
And I mean, you probably punch the exterm and then swat the facilitator just for like maximum value to make the swat attack safe.
Yeah.
I think this was a rampage instead. Yeah, to land in the Conyard. Which is also fine, right? Like, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter what you do here as long as it ends in a dead Percy. I just would have done it that way for like efficiency. But.
Yeah.
Should have put Maxim in hyper. It makes this turn much safer. And the difference between 5 and 6 on this board is like not huge.
True.
There's enough like double fires that you'll probably get chained into something. Although I guess the argument is that like the hit and run is valuable.
It is valuable. The question is it valuable enough? And I think
Is this a gunshot?
I mean, white dice or blue dice, why look like it? Why? You're right there next to him.
Yeah, you aligned. And there was no disruption.
I mean, I guess you had the spy flies -1 to defense, but
Sure. I still take the extra blue, I think. And the hit and run. Like better trigger, better blues.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's more the trigger that would decide it for me, because -1 defense is, the same as penetrator. It's better than a single blue. But
yeah, it's not. It's like a
movement
third better.
Shenanigans would have been really good.
Yeah. Because then you could just like hit and run Maxim back so he's not lined up for any buildings again, and like, okay, deal with me again.
Yep.
Although this position's fine too, right? It's 2 damage options no matter where you look.
Yeah.
If I was Centipede, I would start igniting some tiles here.
That would make sense.
He has no Scorcher though. Oh no, he does. Yeah, it's just in the back there.
I was gonna say.
It's gonna ignite Boyaka to put him in hyper, which I actually kind of don't like.
I'm okay with it if you're, set up to follow up on that and keep pressure on Boyaka, but I think he's not.
Yeah, so now we're going to go to the big game hunter penetrator gun. Seems not
Oh,
great.
yeah, that's true.
Like, you would be shocked how few dice you have to roll when you're rolling 6 boost into a 7.
Yeah. Because at that point you only need 2 or 3, even with 1 or 2 whites, isn't it? To still get up to like an 85.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 and 2 on either side, with 6 is like a 90 or an 80.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know, I would always have to look it up.
I'm starting to get it in my brain, but it's not great. So a 2 brings you up to 80, like 2 on either side. If you put a white, so 362 is an 86, and 263 is a 90.
Yeah, I figured it was something like that.
Yeah, like it is, you can be incredibly dice light.
Yeah. Yeah, and with Centipede only having the 1 monster left, that just means you only need to be generating those three reds to plink him every turn.
Yeah, right? You just like, you plink him down. You can even have Maxim like running around, like swatting things into each other. You never, like, you can 1v1 this, is kind of the
Yeah.
problem, right? With like waves of 1v1.
Well, and you have rapid fire now too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if Maxim can just generate 3, you can deal 2 damage a turn just by plinking. One of the few monsters we heavily advocate blast attacks with.
Well, because he's got 6 blues and
I know.
penetrator,
I know.
right? Like
Yeah.
the complaint has always been dice investment, right? When you can be that dice light to make like reasonable attacks, right?
Yeah.
4 whites and 6 power to do 2 damage to a monster is not like unreasonable.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I really liked about the idea of the Boyaka Rogzor pair. The issue is it's double pedestrian. But, you shove Rogzor down their throat and you force them to give you the 9 blue penetrator gun.
Penetrator beatback.
That's true.
Yeah, I think the problem is that the new maps are so incredibly unkind to pedestrians, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of the feeling I got with them. God, when I went up against Ireland with the G-Tron on this map, I was really lamenting G-Tron's pedestrian alpha.
Yeah, I think that's his biggest stumbling block, right? He is just a
It
monster
is.
who would really benefit a lot from high mobility in the alpha.
Yeah. I mean, I would almost say, do the Zix thing and let him have high mobility in alpha and lose it in hyper if that's what you wanted to do. If you didn't want to
So
just give it to him in both forms.
so my feeling, and like this is based on nothing, is that because every other monster in the faction has high mobility on the alpha, he is not allowed to have it.
Yeah. Could be. It's just a shame because he really needs it.
Do not disagree with you at all, but I would bet you that is the rationale for why he cannot have it.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you on that. It's just a pity. So it also makes more sense for him to lose it than gain it, because after all, he's got rockets. You can just say they got broken going into hyper.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't see more monsters who lose immobility when they go up. Like, I get the idea of like powering up, but I also kind of like the breaking down version.
Yeah, you gain power in some areas, but you lose it in others. It makes sense to me that way, you know? It does not make sense to me that Hurricaneus does not have flight in both forms. It wouldn't do much to balance her, but it would do a little.
Hurricaneus should have flight. It would be a big nerf on her alpha, which would be important.
It
Yeah, well,
balances
that's what I was
her a
saying.
lot.
What?
Will balance her a lot because she should not be allowed to trigger her hyper form on command.
I agree. Also, hello. Didn't know you joined us.
I was here for about 30 minutes already. I'm just like trying to redo all my OBS shit because my whole entire computer booted me, so I have to
Yeah.
redo everything.
Hey, how do you and Foxy do the drawing on the screen when you're
For
doing
tabletop?
streams?
What do you
Yeah,
mean the
when you all are
drawing?
streaming someone else's game?
Oh, you mean like just like regular drawing in TTS or
No, in OBS.
like setting up a border and all that stuff?
You know how in like the tournament games you all can draw on the screen and be like, yeah, this thing should go over to this building and so on, without drawing in TTS and showing it to them?
I think most of the time it's literally just us taking a snippet and then just showing the snippet window.
Okay.
Or I think there's some kind of program he downloaded where he's able to draw on the desktop screen at the time and moment. You have to ask
Okay.
him because he's more of the tech one, and I'm more of just like try and do like organized shit.
Yeah. Well, I also need to figure out the frames so that I can do those sort of fancy things that you all do.
I am currently in the midst of redoing all the shit that I have to redo, which is labeling all the buildings and grouping them to each map consistency. So when we go back into it, we only have to turn on what we need.
Yeah.
But that took me like 2 hours just to do the maps, and I haven't even done the monsters yet or the logos, and I'm doing that right now. So
Makes
all night
sense.
for me, but I got something to do. I'm not in the mood for painting, not in the mood for crafting, so this is what I'm doing with my time.
Makes sense.
Who's next?
I have a feeling this game is going to time. Also, hi Mimi. I saw that you were
Hello.
here, but you were on mute, so I didn't say anything.
It's fine. I was just more just like listening.
Yeah. 13-15 with the way they're playing, I wouldn't be too surprised if it went to time. What is this crawler doing?
You just chilling, yo.
You know, if he still had the industrial, I wouldn't mind just sending a spar up there to kill the berserker. Is the plan to try and blitz it next turn or something? Hey, Vulnerus is actually trying to kill some things on his unit turn.
About time. Been so frustrated at these units not dying.
Yeah. Got it.
Now, as long as that berserker kills the okay, so that was
Okay,
that.
cargo.
Sure. And then
Still doesn't
berserker
explain the
destroyer.
crawler.
Does not. That crawler should be like sitting on. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Interesting. So I don't like stacking up like this on this crane though, because like that's where you're going. Oh, thanks for streaming the other game, Aaron.
there a third game going on? Oh, Mung Gearbox. That's
Yeah.
a good game.
It's pretty hype. Yeah, I am committed to this one.
I
But
was gonna say, I really want to switch over to that one right now.
I'm gonna watch. Yeah, I want to watch this one out. I don't know. This game has been so swingy.
Yeah.
I think that like this should be the win for Vulnerus. I would think, right? Just
I would
based
too.
on monsters we've got.
Yeah, I would expect it to be Vulnerus' win as well. I'm gonna keep streaming this just because I started it and I told them I was. And then afterwards, I mean, they mostly have their critiques already. They can watch it and see what they've done. But yeah, after they're done, I think I'm gonna immediately stop it and switch over to the Mung Gearbox one.
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. Like, so for both players, I think the biggest problem was just like inefficient lines,
Yeah,
right? Like it was all minor inefficiencies is what's been tripping them up.
yeah. I mean, for
So like,
Centipede, it was just aggressive chaining that resulted in monsters being in the wrong positions.
I think that was actually the bigger deal, even than the aggressive chaining. It was the fact that like Yasheth basically didn't contribute for the first half of the game.
Yeah. But yeah, for Vulnerus, it was just not clearing out the power base.
Yeah, not attacking the opposing units. And like the Verota Walker was kind of wasted dice several times.
Yeah. Not even necessarily wasted, just not as efficient.
Yeah, no, it did its thing. It's just I don't think it was the thing that needed to be done on a lot of those turns.
Yep, that's kind of how I felt.
So like from Vulnerus's perspective here, like Voyaka just kills everything, right?
Could be.
Right, you got that sweet pen gun. You just like shoot down Facilitator, shoot down Spyfly. You don't need to ever throw any reds at any of this.
No.
Although I think this was a Rampage again.
Yeah, it might have been. I think I would have
What it
swatted
looks
the
like.
Spyfly into the Facilitator and then rapid fire the Exterminatrix. But yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have just like shot the Facilitator, shot the Exterm, to be completely honest with you.
I mean, you throw one red into the SWAT and you can clear out 3 units that way. You're getting the same number of reds back.
Yeah,
Just
but I'm trying to trade up on reds here, right? So I would have made those 1 white, 4 boost.
Well, what I'm saying is in either way, you're getting
Yeah, you're
2
getting
reds
2.
back.
True.
So
That's
you're
fair. Trading.
just clearing out a 3rd unit and making it more expensive for Centipede to rebuild.
Wait, where was the Spyfly positioned?
Right next to the power plant. Ooh, so I guess you could have swatted Facilitator into the power plant and shot the Exterm. That would have netted you quite a bit more reds. Or you just blow up the power plant and, shoot the power plant, shoot a unit. I think
I shoot exterm.
yeah, shooting the exterm is definitely the correct answer.
Yeah, I don't shoot facilitator there. I shoot exterm.
I
I
think
value
the
having my power
fly.
dice.
I think the fly and the power plant would have been entered at the same time.
They said that it wasn't, so I'm
Oh,
going to trust
okay.
their recollection because I wasn't paying super close attention to that.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I suppose that makes a good argument for just having the stream on and on mute, just in the background. Then you could quickly switch over to that and look. The one bad thing with the headset I have is I don't have just a mute button on the headset itself.
Also, that throw was incorrect. I would have thrown to the exterm. Not that it like super matters, but that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Yeah, anything that keeps those reds coming back, though.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like what is he gonna like swap to fight Boyaka instead? Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
But then Centipede decided to punch, so now Centipede gets to take 3 damage.
Okay.
Because like Boyaka just like shoots Voider, shoots exterm, throw to guard base plus media.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that attack missed. That's what happened there. Okay. No. Or
I don't know. Something got shot. Wait. What has 5 blues? Boyaka
Boyaka.
stays 4, doesn't he?
Yes, I don't know what this. This must be Voyaka's power. This must be SWAT, which I like
Okay.
a whole bunch less.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's
If
just
you were
no
gonna do
reason.
this, you should have been 1 space up. No, it doesn't, because then it's only 1 step to get in line with the score. He doesn't see the line, or he does. Yeah. So. This is ballsy to hit a 5.
I think Vulnerus is going to lose this on clock, actually.
I would say so. Yeah, he's having a real rough time with the clock. I mean, can't miss an attack roll. But
Yeah. Well, he's a newer player, so it's not unusual for them to have a rough time with clock.
yeah, clock is it's a hard skill to develop.
Yeah. That's one I'm still working on, as evidenced against Mike.
And that's a miss.
How many misses is that this game? I feel like it's been one every 4 turns or something, including
Into
minute
monsters.
turns.
Yeah, so into monsters, that's the second.
Okay.
That was another miss. But yeah, it looks like Vulnerus is going to drop this one on clock. Which, like you said, new players, it's a struggle. And he he had to like take some extra time figuring out TTS.
Yeah.
And Centipede's been playing for clock for like the last 3 turns here, which is why he keeps punching him instead of actually like trying to kill Maxim. He's
Yeah.
just trying to run the clock down.
Yep. And you can't do that too obviously, or they'll just, push right back. Be like, okay. I mean, he could now. It wouldn't matter, but if Vulnerus loses on clock, is it counted as having killed 2 monsters?
Yeah. Yeah, both monsters' health go to 0, is effectively what happened.
Okay then. Mixed feelings about that. It makes sense. It's just kind of feel like it wasn't earned in some cases.
So I'm gonna push back there because, like, if the clock is a win condition, if
It
you
is.
play to it and you get the win from that, like that's as valid as any other way to win.
It is. Yeah, I guess for me it's a issue of the breakers. I don't really like playing to clock though, so it's a valid way, and I guess it probably shouldn't be punished.
You also
No,
have to think about it like this as well, is they're not always going to be playing towards clock. Clock is just a limiter that you have to do, which is an additional skill set towards this game. The
Yeah,
moment clock starts whittling down, then both players, not just one, notice that their skill set on clock is something that they need to improve on, they need to practice on, and it's something that they can feel accomplished on the more that they can think on their toes. When winning by a clock scenario, it's understanding that the player who's able to play fluidly has practiced enough and done enough studies to their own game to have that kind of win per clock, saying against saying against a same level person who also has just that enough skill set on clock. It's like chess. You play on the
yeah,
time because you can't have an infinite amount of time to think. Then what skill set else is there to be there?
yeah, and I
and
guess my thing is, if you got the win but you didn't get the monster kills, it would encourage people to not only play towards clock.
sure, but
Keep
I
that
don't.
as a back end type thing.
But once
Fail
again,
safe.
monster kills isn't the second to your win condition. It's your strength of schedule, then your monsters, and then your health.
I thought it was monsters
No,
Nope.
monsters are
SOS.
first.
Yeah,
Was it?
it's
Yeah,
monsters
monsters are first.
SOS health.
Okay.
But even then, right? Like I agree with what Mimi's saying, right?
Yeah,
Like we
yeah,
play in a
it
clocked
is.
environment because that's the rules, right? So like,
Yeah,
why should the player who has taken the time and practiced that through be punished, right?
yeah. Well,
Um,
that's what I was saying. You don't want to punish someone for the win. It's also a way to encourage not playing towards clock, but playing towards kills.
sure, but I would argue that like most games don't end on clock. Like it's been
No, they
abnormal
don't.
the
Yeah.
number of games that we've seen end on clock this event.
Oh, have we seen a lot of them this event?
This will be number 3, right? Well, I guess technically your game didn't end on clock, but
No, mine almost ended on clock.
I'm counting your game as a clock game. Because
Fair.
given infinite time to think, I think you win that game, right? You just didn't have the time left to win it.
No, and I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but yeah, I went into that last unit turn thinking, oh, I've got 4.5 minutes left. I can spend 2 now, and then I don't know. I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh shit, I've got 30 seconds left. I need to end my turn now.
Yeah,
I
and I mean,
honestly thought I would lose that on clock. And I do think, I don't know, it's complicated. in my game, with as close as it was, I do think giving Ireland both kills would have been the correct move.
You also have to remember playing on clock on TTS versus real life are two completely, totally different things because when you're playing on clock on online or TTS, you have such a disconnect when trying to move models because you don't feel very inactive or very integrated by moving them or having fluid motion or seeing the board as you may, rather than worrying, am I clicking my model? Am I moving it? Did I turn the building into something else? Versus in real life, you already know the material you have in your hands. You're not worried about clicking something else, clicking your timer, because your mind's already in a set of my hand knows when to hit the timer physically. My hand knows what model I'm trying to pick up. So
And
there's sometimes
actually
a
doesn't
disconnect
physically.
between that.
Most of my
It's
clock
completely different.
experience is on TTS.
And I've had both clock experience person and in TTS.
Yeah,
I've already conquered in person. I cannot conquer TTS
yeah,
because a person like me who has ADHD, it's not easy when I'm constantly clicking and looking at many other things on the board
yeah,
versus when I see it in face in front of me with my models, it's tunnel vision and I can concentrate.
yeah.
And it becomes like I hate that. I hate the fact that it's like I want my skill set from in person to translate to TTS, but for for me, it's like there's a disconnect because for some reason it's just like I don't see the board as well as I do in person, which is weird to say, and I don't know if I'm crazy for saying it.
No, I mean that's a pretty common complaint that people don't see the board as well as they do,
Yeah.
like in reality.
Yeah, we definitely heard that before.
Yeah, like I know Kira has the same complaint. Like she has
Well,
real trouble seeing the board and seeing the units on it.
do what I do on occasion. Play in VR.
Twisted VR commentating stream when.
Oh my gosh, that is the best kind
Oh.
though.
You all have said before it gives you motion sickness, so probably
It's
not.
Yeah.
hilarious though. I like looking from above and just seeing the shadow of your VR when you shrink yourself. It's like, hi, I'm just the same size as the monsters or even smaller. And I'm like, can I somehow pick you up and actually move you around the board?
Yeah. See, like
Yeah, it is fun to do something like that. Well, then you have to like baby crawl your way around the board.
so from Centipede's side there, I would have just killed Mecha Maxim.
Yeah, I can't actually look at it right now. What was the positioning?
So he had Yasheth in the double there. So you just like walk up
Oh,
to the hazard, slap Maxim, and then body slam him into the hazard with you.
yeah.
Like it's not safe. But I mean, I guess he's playing to like the clock win con. I'm just like, if
Yeah.
clocks weren't the win condition in this game, like would that play have been correct? And I would say no.
Yeah, I don't know if it would or not. I mean,
So I like this. Yeah, nice and quick, nice and speedy. Nope, no more thinking. We are past the thinking point.
yeah,
All
your
we know is
clock.
action.
Don't pull a twisted.
Now, unfortunately, there is no world in which he gets the kill here, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But they did manage to destroy 23 buildings, so there's that.
Ugh. Do they get a reward for most buildings destroyed in a game?
I think they only get something if they can get the last one, right, Mimi? Like that's an all or nothing.
They need to get the Hulk hat
You
trick.
gotta give up your clock, your monsters, just to get that last building.
Yeah, got to get that building, right?
That is the
That's
goal.
the achievement.
The sad part is they won't know this until after the stream.
They should have
City
intuited it.
destroyed. Everybody is dead. Unlocked.
A no survivors achievement.
No living breath allowed. only the living breath of your own. Unless you're a robot, then I don't know how to go from there.
At that point, it's just no breath allowed.
There you go.
Now, if you're a guard robot, I don't know what to say.
Congratulations, all your comrades are dead.
Congrats, you failed.
You failed the city. It wasn't my fault, I swear.
I don't know. I think from Centipede's perspective, like I know he can't kill me on this monster turn. I know that he has at most 3 turns left, right? If he's just doing 15-second turns. I don't know if I would have done this. I probably would have just passed the clock, taken my 15 seconds.
I think I would have spawned the 2 crawlers and Propo and just screened up Yasha.
I don't even know if I'd go that far, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you getting thrown into?
I guess that's
A hazard?
true. Yeah, Volnir has 1 red. He's powering up for
A
3?
bunch. Yeah, like, it's good. 4.
4,
It's
yeah.
got a building too. Right?
Yeah.
Like, sure, but you're not gonna kill Yasheth in 49
No, either
seconds.
way, at best you're still dealing 2 damage to him. So I guess no, it doesn't really matter if he's screen or not.
I mean, maybe if Vulnerus can like get those dice out like real quick, just like 15 seconds, like shot.
Yeah, if he was doing that, he needs to be planning those attacks right now and setting those dice aside. I mean, we've all seen me do that.
Yeah, I mean, he does have his power up dice off to the side already.
He does, which
Just
is
like
good.
that's good. That's good clock management, right? Like if you're down to this kind of position, like every second counts.
Oh yeah.
This is a very ballsy attack. 1 and 2 to hit a 3. Gets it. Never punished. No, I mean, I think at this point, like the attack hitting or not doesn't really matter from Centipede's perspective.
Yeah, probably not.
Like, it's fine that it did. It would have been fine if it didn't too.
Yeah. Yeah, Centipede really does just kind of want to take 15-second turns and run the heck away. Because that is his only win con at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have like talked this one out at this point, right? With 49 seconds, like, you know, just
Yeah, how
report
do
the
you
health
get
total
7
to 5.
damage on me in 49 seconds? That's
Yeah,
the question.
but I mean, the health remaining does matter, right? So you do have to have
It
that
does.
like conversation,
Yeah.
like talk it out.
Well, and I guess if Centipede did just 1 brawl attack, he could make that 8 damage that you have to get. So he would probably end with
6.
something like that, yeah.
Well,
he would
so
go up to 8, go down to 6, maybe go up to 7, go down to 5.
no, so the way this game ends is he goes down to 5, right?
Yeah.
Because because Vulnerus has monster prio, right? So then you lose the vampirism.
True.
Because no monster heals in hyper.
Yep. Not without buildings.
Yeah, there's no native healing on hypers, which I think is a good design choice for the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that. Rocket assist triggers on units as well as on buildings.
I thought rocket assist just you had to target a unit and whatever your second target was, it happened.
Yeah, I thought it had to be building. Like I thought it was very restrictive.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, it's literally any second target. You can swat into a monster and kill all of its screens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
did not know
that's
that.
how I thought it worked. Is that just Marin coming in and out?
Marin's on mute, I assume, because they are watching a different game and don't want to
Yeah.
mess with the stream.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that too. That's why I'm...
Oh, hey, Clay.
Ah, hello.
So if Vulnerus had another minute, so if we hadn't done one of those turns, right?
Yeah.
If we'd had a quicker turn in one place, like he might have been able to win the game.
He might have.
As it is, I mean, getting down to 3 health from 7 in that 49 seconds is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But I am gonna swap over to the Gearbox game.
Sounds good. I'm gonna let this one finish and then I'll come join you.
How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Not
How
bad.
are you?
How are you?
Too bad.
How's that work
Cool.
schedule looking?
Not too bad. I just had some other stuff to do, so.
Yeah.
Let's
It's more a question, when are we doing our game?
Oh yeah. So Friday should be good. I work from like that morning at midnight till 12. So like after I sleep a little bit, I can hop on later
Okay.
at night. So.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
how late do you want to do it? Because there's a dance from 7 to 8 Eastern that I could go to if you want a little more time.
Yeah, no, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it after that. For sure.
Okay.
That should work for
Sounds
me.
good.
So the Mung Mung game is spicy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still streaming the ending of the Centipede
So-
Vulnerus game.
What happened here is Mung Mung traded Percy for Hurricaneus, and now it's full health Voyaka versus full health Armored Axe.
What?
Okay, then.
Yep. And Hurricaneus died to units.
Yeah, Hurricaneus got shot by an exterminate, a bunch of spars. It was
What a way to
hilarious.
go.
Putting that out
Okay.
there.